Well, this is a really good win for us on a lot of fronts. You know, the thing I talked to our guys about after that Alabama A&M loss was, you know, we had to get over the public embarrassment of losing at home to Alabama A&M. And I said, like, you know, that's a hard thing. You know, my wife wanted to go out New Year's Eve and celebrate and go out to dinner and go out to a movie, and I had no interest in doing that because I was embarrassed about us losing to Alabama A&M, and I know our players, you know, felt the same way. But I said we got to figure out a way to like get better from this. And the sad part about the Alabama A&M game is I thought that first 15 minutes of the game is the best that we've ever played. And I said, like, everybody in this room, as far as like our team in our locker room, knew we got better during that time before we played Alabama A&M. But because we lost, you know, no one thinks we got any better. And so, like, it was good for our guys to come out and play this way and show themselves and other people that they've made improvements as a basketball team. Now, is New Orleans better than Alabama A&M or vice versa? I don't know, really don't care. All I know is that our guys played well.
Question.
Rick, you did get a lot of looks defensively tonight from them. You know, 1-3-1s, 2-3s, man, full court, all those things. Was this, going into SEC play, was this kind of a good indication of how you guys react to that type of switching and what you guys can work on?
Well, I think that's the beautiful thing about teaching your guys motion. You know, when you teach your guys motion, you really teach them how to play basketball. So anything that comes up, you know, as far as like changing defenses, they should be able to adjust to it because you've taught them how to be basketball players. So they had some multiple looks, and the thing I think you can't do is like you can't bog down your guys with too many sets, too many offensive things that you're trying to do against each different defense. You got to give them a way to play basketball so they have a free-flowing, you know, offensive structure. So I thought our guys did a great job of, like, you know, just going to go play basketball, and that's the beautiful part of motion.
You obviously shot the ball well in every aspect of the game tonight. Talk about that.
Well, you know, we've been coming in twice a day, you know, every day. We either, you know, we always practice. We bring those guys back to shoot free throws or to do something we call bulldog shooting, which is shooting 2s and 3s, and they get up at least 200 shots each session on that. And, you know, with those guys not being in school, we have to make sure we take advantage of getting, you know, some shooting up. And I didn't want our guys to look at it as punishment. You know, I wanted them to look at an opportunity for them to get better. And so now the key to them, I told them, is like finding a way to niche out some time, carve out some time once school starts back up to do it on their own, you know. Because I know they've got tutors, they got class, they got athletic training facilities, they got all these things they have to do, but they got to find a time to come in and continue to work on their own game and shoot.
Coach Collins, he had some adversity even in the game with the technical, got hit in the mouth and everything, but he still played through it.
I think getting hit in the mouth is a good thing every once in a while. So seeing a little blood, you know, on the court and on your face like that kind of wakes everybody up. So, no, Colin played well for us. He's a good basketball player. He really sees the nuances of the motion as far as like when to screen, when to cut. He's a good passer. He just got a feel for basketball, and it really helps us out on the offensive end. You know, the biggest reason why Colin is playing more, though, he's adjusted to the defensive end. You know, beforehand he was a bad defensive player, and he really wasn't doing some of the things that we needed to get done for us to be a good defensive team. And now he's really made strides on the defensive end, and so we feel now he's viable on both ends, on the offensive end and the defensive end. So it's really helped our team.
Was tonight really the epitome of how you can show that your guys, the defensive end, can really generate the momentum you're looking for?
No question about it. You know, I have the stats in front of me, but I don't want to look right now. But I think we had like they only had 7 assists, and we forced them into 23 turnovers. And I thought our guys are just really active. And once you force 23 turnovers, it gives you a chance to go out and play transition basketball. And I don't care what team you are, you always play better in transition because you're playing advantage basketball and you're not playing against a set defense. And, you know, like, that's what we want. We want our guys to get out and play in the open court, play full court basketball, and have some chances to play against, you know, where the defense is not set.
You obviously don't have all the pieces or everything you want, but going off of this game, what are you trying to work on here before you play South Carolina? And just, I'm sure you maybe don't even have to necessarily communicate to them just how much tougher things are about to get.
Well, you know, I think the one thing that we want to do is just trying to emphasize that our guys are like not worry about the opponent as much as like us getting better. You know, obviously the opponent's going to change. Some guys are going to play defense a little, you know, different than the others. Some guys are going to pressure. Some guys are going to pack it in and things like that. It really doesn't matter. You know, if we become better basketball players and become a better team, then no matter who we're playing against, like, we're going to become a better basketball team. So, you know, to me, like, yeah, SEC play is going to start and teams are going to get tougher and people are going to play. But if you haven't become better in your non-conference, what does it really matter? You know, like, we want to go out and continue to improve and get better. That's the most important thing.
So when you talked about the public embarrassment of the A&M loss, how did you treat the players? I mean, what did you do, you know, to try and get their heads straight?
Well, we sat down and we talked about it. I said, you know, I think we got to let it out. Hey, you know, it's a situation where I could have came in there like and just like been upset with them and put them through the rigors and practice and things like that. But that's not what our team needed. You know, like, our team played really good for the first 15 minutes of that ball game, and then it was a situation where we had a scoring drought. And when you had that scoring drought, guys start reverting back to their bad habits and doing some things they shouldn't be doing on the offensive end. Because the bottom line is, no matter how bad you're playing offensively, if you continue to get stops, the score doesn't change. You know, we were up 15 points. If we continue to get stops, you know, and not turn the basketball over, we're still going to be up 15 points. So we got to have that mindset when we have those scoring droughts. And we're going to have some of those scoring droughts. It's college basketball. If you look at what's going on in college basketball, it's hard to score. Now, whether that's because, like, guys are not, you know, working on a skill level, the defenses are getting better, it's more physical, I don't know. It's probably a whole bunch of different things. But the bottom line is, like, you look at the games and look at the scores in college basketball, everybody's going through these droughts. And now we got to try to figure out a way to fight through those things and not just hang our hat because we haven't scored in 3 minutes or we haven't scored in 4 minutes. And so now let's keep playing defense and keep grinding and finding a way to win the basketball game.
You may have hit on this, well, a lot of us were gone in Jacksonville, but just have you been able to talk to Wendell about his future, and has anything been decided there?
No, nothing's been decided yet on that. I think first and foremost, like, Wendell's got to continue to talk to his family and talk to his support group and figure out what he wants to do. Because to me, like, the decision is in his hands. You know, I've offered the opportunity for him to come back on the basketball team because I think it's what's best for him. Not just on the basketball court, but off the court too. It gives him a chance to come back and graduate and things like that. But Wendell's got to do what he thinks is best for him, and in order for him to do that, he's got to sit down and talk to his support group. You know, I think, you know, you would like to say that, like, Wendell is going to do that because he likes being in the program, he likes being a Mississippi State Bulldog, he likes some of the things that we're doing, but he may not, you know, and so, like, he just has to make sure that he's all in with the basketball program if he wants to come back and truly do that.
In game 2 back, has Jalen met your expectations, exceeded your expectations in terms of rust as to what you were expecting after such a long layoff?
Yeah, maybe I'm different, but I don't have expectations like that. I just, you know, I wanted to come out and, you know, play basketball, you know. And
did he seem like himself? Is, I guess, maybe the better question, or are we not there yet?
I only coached him a few games before he got hurt, so.
Okay.
So, I mean, the thing he does for us is, like, he's a threat.
Right.
You know, and that's what we need. We need somebody who's out there as a threat, because we have some guys like Gavin now. Like, Gavin is scoring in the paint. And so if, like, Jalen Steele is out there now, you know, people are not going to come double off of Jalen Steele because he can shoot the basketball. So that gives Gavin Ware more space to operate in the paint. You know, a guy like Craig Sword, you know, who can penetrate. You know, like, now the lanes open up a little bit more because you have Jalen Steele out there. So I just think he helps our team because he can shoot the basketball. He's a threat, but he's a good basketball player too. He's not just a shooter.
You mentioned that the scoring drought against A&M, and I think tonight up big and beginning of the second half, and New Orleans went on a little bit of a run, not a long one, but then you called a timeout, brought them over, and I think after that, 17-0 run for you guys. Was that one of those moments where it was either about to go the way it did against A&M, or, you know, happy to see him come back and do what you wanted?
Yeah, I called that timeout. It had nothing to do with, like, X's and O's and things like that. You know, I actually showed him the clipboard and said, like, there's nothing I'm going to put on this clipboard that's going to help you here. You know, I said, we're back to, like, this situation with Alabama A&M. You know, like, now we're going to just go out here and start playing bad basketball and let these guys back into the game and give them some life. are we going to go out and play the way that we know we can play? And more importantly, like, just continue to grind and get stops. If we do that, you know, then we'll take that life away from them, and we'll kind of run away with this. But if you continue to play the way you're playing right now, I say you're going to give them life, and it's going to become a hard basketball game.